Hey, it's Jay Foss, and today I'll be talking about the April 2022 Hero of the Month, Silvaria. She is of the Barbarian class, which is probably one of the weaker classes, but not a deal breaker. The first passive or innate ability is summoning a minion on when she's burned. This is obviously stronger than the minions provided by her special. And her second passive or innate ability is resist minion removal. Now, this obviously doesn't mean her minions can't be killed. It just specifically refers to heroes that remove minions, typically before damage, like Grimble. So she'll get to keep hers, although the damage for most of those heroes will kill the minion anyway, but worth noting there. Her, of the 58 green 5 stars, and if you haven't watched me do videos like this before, I have 58 green 5 stars because if there's a costume, I count that's 3 versions, right? There's the regular with the costume bonus, and then there's wearing the costume. So of the 58 green 5 stars, her attack of 772 ranks 18th, so above average there. Her defense ranks 37th, so below average there. And her health ranks 18th, so above average there. Not a bad split for just generally for a minion maker. Typically, I'd want the defense prioritized over the health, but since they both influence the minions, not a deal breaker there. Starting with the special, and the order of this is important. The target and nearby enemies get minus 34% defense for 3 turns. So this happens before the hit. If you don't know how these are listed, it's usually the order they occur. So the defense is indeed occurring, or minus defense is occurring before the hit. So this 350% damage is a little bit deceptive. This was something we played around with in beta. Estimating the damage is a little tougher in this case because there's more factors and it's sort of like an estimate within an estimate. But going through some of the other green snipers, with the minus defense coming before the 350%, it's generally baseline value is going to be way higher than Balber, which is the previous green hero of the month. It'll be, I'm guessing, above Cristobal charge 1 if the condition is not met, and below if Cristobal's condition is met. It'll be well below Iora and Fluffy, who's the green circus hero. I think it'll be in the same realm of Garjamal, Gregorian, Kingston, Flayus Fog, maybe slightly higher in terms of damage. Maybe around Costume Liana, maybe a little less, and definitely higher than Zoc. So comparing to the other green snipers, that's sort of the ballparks I would put her in terms of damage, because you're always going to get that minus defense first. Now, I did list off some of those heroes that are fast, and she is of average speed, which is obviously a downside, but you can get her to 9 tiles on offense with a level 23 mana troop is the easiest way, or other ways with the new magic troops, talent grid, etc. So, but the average speed, whenever there's an average speed hero and there's a fast speed hero that does more, that always concerns me a little bit. But minus defense is a pretty valuable skill. Continuing on with the special, summons a minion. This is a pretty weak minion in all honesty. At the higher tiers, this minion would probably be perceived as a weakness, especially on defense, so definitely not a defensive hero for the higher tiers, and I would have concerns about her 743 baseline defense. Anyway, on defense, at the lower tiers perhaps, but I don't really see this hero fitting in particularly well at tank, but possibly a flank if you don't have a ton of options. And the link is plus attack. So let's talk about if you should level this hero and just generally some of the early perceptions. As I've mentioned before in some of my other videos, I'm a beta player. I've been in beta a very long time. The last hero I didn't play with that's in the game right now is Odin. So I've been in beta since season 3. And I read all the forum comments and beta comments and all that stuff and watch all the other content creators before making these vids. So with this one in particular, but the hero month in general, everybody who has all these options is like, oh, this hero's terrible. And then that sort of gets picked up on as the initial consensus. I don't think this hero's terrible. I think the low percentage is misleading because the minus defense is always going to be applied first. Now, if you have Ganju, or the green 5-star from War of Three Kingdoms that just came out, of course he's better than Silvaria. If you have Frigg, she's better. If you have Quinel, she's better. But I think we get into this hyper-polarized thing where everybody who has a lot of heroes says that all the heroes of the month suck, and it could be helpful to a lot of players who don't have a lot of heroes, so just keep that in mind. Continuing on though with whether you should level or not, minus defense is a great skill. It's valuable on the Titans. Keep in mind the blue mythic is immune to defense down, so it won't help you much there. Unless you're at the very top tier of tournaments, the minions will help in bloody. Like this generically has a lot of things that are good in bloody battle. Resistant to burn, minions can't be removed, barbarian talent, minus defense, so I haven't seen that mentioned, but probably could be decent there. Offensively, when I played with her, there were some timing issues in terms of, because she's average speed, not charging all the time with my fast heroes. So that's something to keep in mind when you're pairing her. But there are synergy pairings, and I was trying to think about this today when I was preparing for this video. Like, I can't think of a single modern hero that gives a substantial amount of minus defense at average or fast speed that is bad. Let me know if I miss one, but I'm trying to think. Average or faster, minus defense, fairly recent hero. I mean, they all seem at least decent. So that's something to keep in mind. It's just a really, really valuable skill to have. But yeah, if it's entirely possible you have better options. I personally don't have a green 5-star that does minus defense down, so this interests me a little bit. I'm using Marcel currently on the blue Titans, and if I need a minus defense in green, which gets me to, I kind of said what I liked about her and what I think's undervalued about her, which gets me to the arguments kind of against her. And whenever I'm evaluating a hero, I like to look at what other competition they have, especially if you can get a really similar effect for cheaper. It's one of the reasons why I hate Zoc, the 5-star former hero of the month, because there's at least 2 green 4-stars that do similar effect and are faster, right? So to me, this is one of the bigger knocks on Silvaria, and that is quite simply the existence of Marcel. And I think this is one of the bigger arguments against her, is that now his attack stat, baseline attack stat's lower, but if he hits 3, he's going to provide minus 34% defense, right? And generally, he's probably going to do more damage assuming he hits all 3, even when factoring in the general stats of 5 stars. So if you need the minus defense in green, you know, go for Silvaria. But if you're strapped on materials, maybe you don't have a lot of tonics, maybe you want to save your 5-star limit breaking materials. I think this is, more than anything, cutting through all the red tape and chatter about this hero's great, this hero sucks. I think more than anything, this is what ultimately hurts Silvaria's value, is that this hero is relatively widely available, and he does something similar, and you don't have to give up your tonics and your potentially big limit break materials. But this stuff about, I have like 41 tonics and I'm not going to level Silvaria, you should level Silvaria if you have 41 tonics. So, like a lot of these, it depends what you got. Minus defense generally is a decent skill. This hero reminds me a little bit of another hero that came out where everybody thought he sucked right away and ended up being pretty good. Uraeus, average speed sniper. Why do we need average snipers? You know, average should hit 3 and do a ton of damage. This hero, it's like a 1 in a million chance, is way better. All those things are true. But unless you have every hero, these are things you got to consider, right? Lastly, I will throw in, when we're in beta, a lot of it's just basically yelling into the void, and we don't get a lot of responses. But we did get a response on something very peculiar. A pretty detailed response, actually. Let me find my... I already have the Hero of the Month. I'm going to look to pull up its artwork. I just got Quenelle, by the way. I'm going to do her next. So, Forest God. This is the same thing Telluria's card says. We asked about this as a potential language bug, because the character appears to be female, at least to most of the testers, and apparently this character was designed to be a non-gendered spirit guardian of the forest. So despite the female appearance and using forest god instead of goddess, according to the development team, this is actually a non-gendered character. So there you go. There's a pointless fact to end the discussion. But good luck with your summons and your ascension decisions. Thank you for watching.